Welcome, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday edition of Open Topic Talk. And I hope everyone is having a lovely Sunday. Feliz Domingo. And I will bring on my illustrious co-host. Okay, the one and only Commodore Jeff Zambello. Let me pipe him aboard. Arr. Welcome aboard the Open Topic Talk pirate ship, my friend. And you wear my favorite color, deep red, dark red.
Yep.
Keep the evil eye away, the Mallorca.
I like that.
It keeps the
James, what's the symbol for the evil eye? Is that the evil eye? Or what's the evil eye?
It's
No, I know what the evil eye is, but there's a symbol, an Italian.
Well, it's an eye that well, to repel the evil eye. I know in ancient India and the Middle East they used the blue eye, a large blue eye.
Oh.
But as far as what the evil eye looks like, it's
no. There's a little symbol. You know how on oh boy.
Well, the
mafia goes like this.
The Italian, I'm not aware of that. I know the Italian good luck charms is either a red hand going this way.
Oh.
Or a horn, a large red horn, looks like a chili pepper. Okay, I used to have it hanging from my rear view mirror, and then there's the best one, Gorbo. It's like a leprechaun. He's an Italian version of a leprechaun, and he's a hunchback. He's a little fairy, a gnome. Like he has a hunchback and a top hat on. He carries the statue. He carries a horseshoe, and he goes like this with his hand. And the bottom part of his body is a red horn. His name is Gorbo. And to increase your good luck, you have to leave, like they say, a glass of red wine and a piece of salami out for him to make him. It's an Italian, I guess, superstition. He's equivalent to a leprechaun, but he's Italian.
Yeah.
Now, I'll find the history of him and I'll send it to you. Gorbo. But let me take a sip of my organic Peruvian Chachamayo dark roast tea. I mean, what the fuck am I saying? Dark roast coffee. Coffee. I'm kind of tired because the show last night went for over 5 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, well, once the panelists start yakking, the time flies, man. It's like the one subject flows into the other. I just want to say, in update on the Yankees, Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge seem to be producing. They're doing well. Anthony Volpe's doing well.
Yeah.
And the kid and Justin Dominguez is doing very well playing rehabilitation games.
Even Austin Wells is hitting the ball. He might be like flying out all the time, but he's hitting the ball. At least he's not striking out.
Yeah, I was gonna say that he's been doing terrible, Austin Wells, for a guy that was practicing all winter. But I hope things
No,
work
he's
out.
improving, James, this month. I'm surprised because he was a disappointment to me, but now he's coming around.
Now he's coming around, yeah, and their record is skyrocketing. I mean, their Yankees record is going in the right direction.
And I wish they play Cabrera more, but they play that kid John Birdie more.
I don't like John Birdie's old.
I don't
John
like
Birdie.
John Birdie. Get the fucking young kid Cabrera.
That's that bald-headed pencil neck geek Brian Cashman. He's got this obsession with the older players. He's got a fetish with the older players. The same thing with. I heard they might trade somebody like DJ LeMahieu. Thank God, they might trade.
God, get him the fuck out of there.
They're gonna. There's a big.
I hate that guy.
There's a big trade deadline coming up.
Good.
I think it's the last one, and the Yankees might be getting this superstar third baseman from the St. Louis Cardinals.
Okay.
Spanish guy. I think he might be Dominican. I don't know, but
good.
He's supposed to be really a superstar third baseman. Get rid of the old timers, man.
It's like having an old horse.
Yeah, put him out. Send him to the glue factory.
Jeepers.
Same thing with Washington. Send those old geezers out back home.
Exactly.
Home. What are they, like the Pope? They're in there forever.
Exactly. Get them the fuck out of there.
Now I want to start a topic that you brought to my attention, and it has to do with a pattern that I noticed on the internet. I noticed that younger generation guys, men and females, they have a habit of being, they do these videos and take these selfie photos, and they have a habit of being very braggadocious and obnoxious and bragging about themselves and going shirtless. All these guys are going shirtless.
Yeah.
And nobody believes in putting on a nice shirt like you have. No, they got to go shirtless, and even the females have to wear scantily clad clothing as they're running their mouth, bragging, which to me seems like a sign
of giving
it.
somebody a hand job all the way from JFK Airport. Yeah.
Yeah, the Jergens, the lotion.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, they're scantily clad and they're bragging about themselves.
Yeah,
it seems like a real there's a epidemic of insecurity going on today with the younger generation people. Even a lot of the older ones are getting like that.
I know.
Older females.
That's why I hate going out of Florida.
Why must these guys? Why can't these guys make a video talking about something important to today's society, to the world, the country, and wear a fucking decent shirt? Wear a shirt.
I know.
Excuse me. They got to go shirtless.
Well, they're trying to appeal to the Dinas of the world. These old hags. Their husbands have some money, and they like the young guys. They're from Denmark or whatever. Fucking not Ricardo. Who the fuck's that guy?
Dina Engard.
Yeah, no, yeah. Well, who knows? She likes who the fuck's that asshole that slept in the same house with Rick Brown there in India.
Garen's.
Heartbeats.
Arby's. Oh, you mean Mr. Times Square?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah,
I've never seen him with a shirt on ever.
You know what? People like Heartbeats. There's others. I've seen it. They're doing these videos with the Indian clubs in a very graceful, like they're doing ballet, like a very gay manner.
They're making love.
Like they're making love to the Indian clubs. It's like there's nothing masculine about their
No,
uh,
it's very effeminate.
rotational training videos at all.
No.
I mean, but you know what? I saw some old turn of the century videos of
Richard Army McGuire, he always wears clothes.
Yeah, no.
And so doesn't Dana Ramsey. So doesn't William Cavani. Everybody wears clothes.
Richard Army McGuire is an Army veteran, and he trains elephants.
He never has his shirt off.
His job was, and get this, training elephants for the circus.
Wow.
Including the dangerous African elephants, and you gotta have guts to train elephants. I mean, but yeah. So McGuire. So anyway, turn of the century videos of these effeminate men, showing or trying to teach Indian clubs, and they're doing the same thing that Heartbeats and these other guys are doing today.
I know.
There have to be gay, these guys, to do this.
I tell you, there's something wrong in the head.
Disgraceful. You know what?
Tell you.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me use your Indian clubs. The ones I'm gonna.
Very, very gay.
Ones I'm going to give you someday. I just want to show you my new avatar. This happens to be the official, historic, one and only United States peacetime flag. The other flag is a wartime flag. The flag that people are accustomed to seeing is wartime, and people, the average American doesn't know the history of it. This is the vertical red stripes, and you can tell the stars are different. So that's the peacetime flag, and you could buy it on Amazon if you want to fly it. It's up to you, but you never see it flying in public because the United States really very rarely has ever been.
So the Yankees just won. Final score 7-2.
Oh, they had an early game today.
Final score 7-2 over the White Sox. Yes.
Oh, it looks like they're sweeping. They're sweeping the White Sox, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's what these guys are doing with their Indian clubs, and it's a pattern. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger said in his first book, which was called The Education of a Bodybuilder. He said, do not show off and do not dress to show off. Wear normal clothing, and people can tell that you're physically fit. They can tell.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. If you wear if the weather's warm and you put on a normal t-shirt or a nice polo shirt like you're wearing, they could tell. They could tell you're a strength training athlete. There's no need to wear the t-shirts with the cut-off sleeves and the cut-off top to show your traps, the trapezius muscles.
Yeah.
They used to have back in the day, they used to have these t-shirts that had no top to them, so people's traps could stick out. There's no need to show off. And Arnold was right, because when you see somebody with a build, they can wear just about any type of nice, normal shirt, even a dress shirt, and people could tell that they are they work out, that they're dedicated. So what's new with this past week of your training in the gym?
Uh, Nothing, just consistency.
Mhm. That is the key word. Consistency is so important,
I mean,
and even if you're not, even if you feel tired or lazy, or even if you don't feel well, you push yourself to never miss a training session. You push yourself, because what happens is once you start making excuses for missing your training, then
mhm.
it'll lead to more excuses and more days off. And then it'll become a habit. You
Right.
start missing more days of working out. So it's good not to get in the habit of making excuses why you can't work out. Um, so
No, I've just been crazy busy. But
I know. Um, um, we are streaming like always recently.
I mean, if
On
it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be spending my time doing a podcast. It's only because of you. You're the only reason. I want everybody out there in the world to know you are the only reason why I'm on Facebook. I don't want to be on social media, but
well,
I
Facebook.
value our friendship so much.
Well,
You're the only reason I could do without Facebook very easily.
Facebook is very, to me personally, Facebook and Instagram, which are owned by the eagle beak control freak geek Mark Zuckerberg, the sleazy, underhanded Mark Zuckerberg. I get I get stressed every time I go on Facebook and Instagram. And why do I get stressed? Okay, I will tell you exactly why. I have been getting bombarded with fake profile scammers that contact.
Yeah.
They pretend to be the girls that are in the photo,
Mm.
and they're flirting and, hey baby,
They're
this.
the Zay Ricardos of the world, the Trojan horses.
Yeah, and they're scammers, and they either end up hitting. They either try to hit you up for money. They want you to PayPal them
Or
money.
citizenship.
Yeah, well, they play a violin, and they give you a sob story, and they
Yeah,
want you
yeah.
to
They
send
can
them
play my fucking violin.
right,
I
or
got my real violin stick.
the bagpipes. They can play the,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
they try to sell you. They try to get you to invest in cryptocurrency. The bit.
Yeah.
They're all
Not this kid.
It seems to be a fad nowadays. This cryptocurrency,
Yeah.
Bitcoin, and I know it's a scam. And you know what I always say? I wouldn't be surprised if Mark Zuckerberg doesn't get a cut
Yep.
of from all these scammers, because why would he allow
Hmm.
massive amount of these scammers to come into Facebook?
Exactly.
I mean, massive. When I say every day they bother me, and even on my phone, the texting, uh, they go like they'll use somebody else's name. Hi, how are you today? I don't know, John or Robert.
Yeah.
I ignore it.
Yep.
Finally, I say, I'm not John or Robert. I'm James. Oh, I'm so sorry. I got the wrong number. But
Yeah.
anyway, could we still be friends?
Yeah.
Could we still be friends? That leads
I'll
in-
be your friend.
into,
Remember in first grade, if you give me your lunch, I'll be your best friend.
yeah. Remember that song, that silly song? Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Why can't And then comes the by the way, like Ralph Cramden used to say, always beware of by the way. And then
Oh.
when you get the by the way after they blow sunshine up your ass and try to befriend you, it's coming. The disclaimer is coming.
Yeah. That's one good thing about George Costanza. He always knew when somebody's going to sucker him.
George
Here they come. They're going to reel me right in.
George Costanza was, despite his dysfunctional uh, personality. He was a very intelligent guy,
Mm.
and he used to give Jerry advice all the time. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, no one on that show should ever take advice from Kramer,
No,
from
that's funny.
because that's how they get in trouble. On the
Yep,
yeah,
it's so
so,
funny. Yep, Kramer
and
always gets everybody in trouble.
and he had his alcoholic mother, Babs Kramer.
Babs. Yeah.
Um,
Shit. Yeah.
remember when Newman was threatening to jump out the window and commit suicide, and it was like the first floor. He lived on the first floor. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, so don't show off if you're an advanced trainer, bodybuilder, or whatever, and definitely if you're an amateur, if
Yeah.
you're a beginner and you don't have a impressive body yet, don't wear clothes to show off, because you're going to get laughed at. You know, I mean, you could wear tapered fit shirts. I'm not saying you can't wear anything to show your physique. You don't have to wear baggy clothes for fat men. You could wear tapered fit, which are like a V shape, and you can get them.
Yeah.
Actually, that's how a lot of men's shirts are designed, and then you have the shirts that go straight down, straight down to the waist, straight like this,
Yeah.
for men that are overweight. And the good thing about a lot of shirts today, they're not designed to be tucked in. Tucking in shirts is that's when you dress up. That's when you're gonna put a tie on.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're casual, there's no really need to tuck the shirt in, and the shirts are meant to be outside, and they're not confining. But any good polo shirt, okay, you don't have to spend a lot of money on an Izod. And any good polo shirt will fit great and will show your physique.
Yeah.
Yeah, with no problem. Now, I took my midday nutritional supplements because there are certain vitamins and minerals that should not be taken with others, and then there are other vitamins and minerals which should be taken together because they enhance one another. Like one perfect example, vitamin E with selenium. They both enhance each other. Okay. Zinc and vitamin C enhance each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so you don't want to take magnesium and zinc together because they compete with each other for absorption. So it's good to take them separate.
Hmm.
And if you're taking lutein for your eyes, do not take vitamin E with lutein, because the lutein hinders the absorption of the vitamin E. So you want to keep those separated. So I have the things I take after I get up, make the coffee. Then I have the midday supplements, and then I have the late evening. I take everything else later, like the astaxanthin,
Oh yeah.
the lutein with zeaxanthin, the magnesium glycinate I take late at night. What else? The chromium picolinate, 1,000 micrograms, which is really 1 milligram. I take that late at night. So there's certain things I take late at night.
Mm.
And I've been making a high protein, very low cost, high protein shake in the Ninja processor, which is I use
Oh,
organic.
the Ninja's good.
Yeah, it's very good. I use organic.
Is it called Shark Ninja?
No, it's just called the Ninja, either the blender or the. It's got a computer inside. You know, it
Mm.
it picks up speed, then it lowers the speed, then the speed goes up again. It shuts off by itself. It's all perfectly timed.
Mm.
I usually hit the puree or the smoothie button, and it automatically does its thing. I put the organic milk. I put 2 tablespoons of brewer's yeast that I get on Amazon,
Mm-hmm.
and a fantastic, unfortunately forgotten superfood, brewer's yeast. And then I put a frozen banana, and I keep, because bananas freeze very well. So I put all the bananas in a big Ziploc bag and a freezer bag, and I keep it in the freezer. So now when I put the frozen banana in the blender, I get a nice, tasty, ice cold, frosty smoothie.
Mm.
So whatever powder you use, it could be brewer's yeast, it could be a green, a dried phytonutrient green juice powder. It could be, one that has all the greens in there. The wheatgrass, the barley grass, the spirulina, all the greens are in there.
Mm-hmm.
If you take it with milk with a frozen banana. And if you like the banana so much, put 2 frozen bananas in there. And it really has a wonderful flavor. Sometimes I put Greek yogurt in there with the milk and the brewer's yeast and the banana. And this is what I use to take my supplements, because number one, it's important to take a high nutrition beverage with the supplements, because you want to get your stomach's digestive acids flowing. You want to get them really going. Number two, many supplements are fat soluble. Many of them are. And their absorption and utilization is much improved in the presence of fat. So a fat soluble supplement, which you could look it up on Google. I mean, some of them are the famous ones would be vitamin D, vitamin A, vitamin K, like K2, MK7, K2, yeah, the astaxanthin, the lutein, vitamin E is fat soluble. These are all fat soluble. So they work better when you take them in the presence of fats. It doesn't have to be whole milk. It could be anything. It could be for lunch. You can eat lamb at
Oh, you mean like Minnesota Fats, the shiksa of the 35-year-old bodybuilder that I saw the other day with the fucking mace in his hand?
the long lanky one.
No. Remember the cartoon fucking picture? He looked like he was a 35-year-old jacked fucking bodybuilder. You don't get that from swinging the mace.
No, that's not from swinging the mace. No, and unfortunately, the people that promote the seminars for the mace and the kettlebell mistakenly tell everybody that it's a panacea. It does everything.
Yeah, panacea. That's the word I was using. Well,
it does everything for you. You know who started that? It's Dragon Door.
Oh yeah.
They started with the kettlebell, and they used that poor soul, Pavel
Oh yeah. Pavel Suri, or whatever his name is.
Tosolina. He's a Russian guy who is very good at working with the kettlebell.
Mm-hmm.
They used him in their marketing, and then when they got established, they shoved him to the side. They put him on they put him on the back burner. In other words, they took him off the company payroll.
Mm-hmm.
And they started with all these seminars about, the kettlebell can do it all. And even like Rick Brown told me, oh yeah, the kettlebell can do it all. And then now the steel mace can do it all. and what's his face? Scott Sonnen said the
Mm.
club bell can.
Yeah, the steel clubs.
Yeah, the steel clubs.
And then they said nobody can use CST, circular strength training. That's his trademark. He'll sue you, Scott Sonnen.
He tried to sue R.B. McGuire
Mm.
for
That's
you.
why I call it CTT,
Yeah.
centrifugal torque training.
Yeah, he. You can't use the word club bell because it's trademarked.
Oh boy!
I don't know why all these Europeans and Indians are using the word club bell. I tell them over and over.
They do an open heart surgery or something like.
It's trade
It's a goddamn name in the dictionary.
club bell, bar bell, dumb bell. I mean,
Yeah.
how do you trademark? How do you trademark that? They're in a dictionary. You know, I mean, like I can understand something like vintage strength games. Vintage strength games.
Yeah.
I can understand trademarking that. You know, but not simple basic words that are in Webster's dictionary. And you know, Scott Sonnen, yeah, the club bell can do it all, can do it all. Yes, yes. No, it's not
Step
about.
right up, step right up. Dun, 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 dun. Where's the kazoo? Where's the kazoo?
Carnival barkers, they call them carnies.
They really are.
Carnival barkers, and they, you know, step right up, so you suckers, step right up. I got something that's gonna rock your world and change your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all those investors, you know, that. Oh, and now's the time to invest in gold and precious metals and currency. And then somebody gives a testimonial that like they went from rags to riches. Oh,
From rags to riches.
That's Tony Bennett started. I think started that song. The late great Tony Bennett.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, they're not panaceas. They don't do it all. They only do certain things because it's circular training is swinging. They only do certain things. Don't expect them to be a barbell, a dumbbell, or a machine, you know, or a granite boulder like the ancients used to work out with. The ancient Greek warriors, Sparta and everything. I saw a movie where they were actually doing presses and curls with a big rock, like a piece of granite.
I am a rock. I am an island.
I got a cock. Now you gotta admit, yeah, it's not just me that you're doing a podcast for. You got to look at the content of what we do here.
Yeah.
The content of what we do. I mean, we don't put each other.
We name names and expose gibberish. Carnival Hutch does. We expose snake oil.
Well, gibberish is like saying word salad. You know, there was a comedian when I was a kid called Professor Irwin Corey, and he had his hair sticking up in the air like Einstein, like gray hair, and he had a big mop, and he used to do double talk. He used to talk gibberish, and that was his shtick, his comedy.
Shtick.
Yeah, Sticklock. That was his comedy. You know.
I am a rock. I am an island.
Knock 3 times on the ceiling if you want me. Twice on the pipe. If the answer is no, and then something about meet me in the hallway. You know what the problem is in banging somebody that lives in your apartment building. Then if it doesn't work out and you try and you bring other girls to your apartment,
Hmm.
the girl would get jealous and try to
Knock 3 times on the ceiling if you want
blow
me.
you out of the water, sabotage you twice on the pipe. Yeah, they'll try to. In other words, like my grandma used to say, don't eat where you shit and don't shit where you eat.
Mm.
It's not. It is a recipe for future problems. If you either you're banging the next door neighbor or
You bangy.
you bangy, yeah, with the bone through the nose, the next door neighbor
Yeah.
and or somebody in the apartment building, as much as horny as the man may be, and as cute or attractive as the female may be, I my prediction is that people will have sex with their neighbor because the sexual urge, the ualia, the desire, that's the Italian for desire, the ualia is so strong that you could you could be logical and say it's nothing but trouble. It's a big mistake if I do it. I'm not going to do
You
it.
come from rags to riches.
And the old Mr. Happy boing
Uh-huh.
will always overtake your mind and do your thinking for you. Now
Yes.
you might say, I'm gonna resist. I'm going to practice willpower. But didn't Gary Puckett sing a song
Yeah.
for will?
Lady, willpower. It's now or never. Give your love to me.
Love and tenderness. Oh, what a great singer that guy was.
Oh my God. Unbelievable.
Young girl, get out of my mind.
Oh,
My love for you is way out of line.
oh
Moving
yeah.
on. Get on, girl. You're much too young, girl. Oh,
Or in the case of a Wisconsin hotel stay for 4 days, you're much too fat for me.
what about the polka? I don't want her. You can have her. She's too fat for me.
Yeah, Minnesota fats.
Yeah, but then Rick Brown yells at me and says about me saying hi to her, talking to her. He goes, "You leave my friends alone." What? You're a married man. Yeah, he seems to forget that he has a wife at home.
Yeah. Yeah, that was conveniently forgotten about.
Yeah, let me
Just
tell.
like the other one who visited, we won't name names, but just like the other one who visited New Jersey. Yeah. And he's doing world tours with the other one.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Paul Tear Ass Walkowinski,
Mm-hmm.
the one and only Tear Ass.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Rip me a new ass.
yeah, let me just tell the.
You're much too young, girl.
Let's see. I gotta tell people I'm live. I am live stream now with my Sunday show on YouTube and Twitter. You're much too.
Young girl, get out of my mind.
Get on, girl. You're much too young, girl. You know, when I was a kid, I had a plastic one, and let me tell you, this metallic one plays so much better than the plastic one.
Mm.
The one from the dollar stores is crap. And this has a diaphragm in it that you can replace when it wears out. This unscrews, and you
Mm.
have a whole pack of the kazoo diaphragms. It comes in different colors, but I decided to get gold.
So where's that Ronnie Simpson today?
I don't know. I think he's being pussy whipped by his wife. I sent him the link. He's even if he's at poolside, he does have a USB port by the cabana. He could join us.
I like when Ronnie's on the show. He always adds something good.
Well, he's very good at the sports.
Very smart, very intelligent man.
He is very intelligent, and he loves doing sports talk.
He's very insightful.
I am doing my live stream show right now on YouTube and Twitter. Okay, so I'm just telling people.
Young girl, get out of my moon.
I got some really good videos to play after you depart for the gymnasium, about relationships, and also about I think intermittent fasting, which is a very effective and healthy way to lose excess body fat. And it's good for people's health in general, even if you're not overweight, because it allows the body to detoxify itself and to clean up the debris, so to speak. Because you can't bombard yourself with you can't bombard and overwhelm your digestive system nonstop. It's not healthy. So it's good to you eat a big healthy meal, you let your digestive system do its thing, and then allow for a period of rest. It's like training, it's like exercise. Without the rest period, you can't rebuild.
I know.
You can't rebuild. Too many people are like, they feel that you got to work out like every damn day. Well, it's different if it's aerobic. Aerobic is different. When it comes to strength training, oh no, you need adequate rest.
But everybody knows all the answers, James. Everybody knows all the answers.
That's another topic. You know how many people, from now on, I'm only gonna give advice to people that ask me.
All the gurus.
Right. Everybody's a guru today. Everybody knows it all. And even what's even worse than the know-it-alls are the ones that do want your advice, but then they tell you you're wrong, and they do what they want to do anyway.
Yep.
Why the fuck are you asking me? Why are you asking? Why are you asking me for advice? If you're not going to take it, So it's best, really, to only help.
Live and let live.
Yeah, it's best to help those that sincerely are looking for help. Sincerely looking for help. Where, when you talk, they're going to pay attention to you as you're speaking. But there's a lot of gimmicks out there. Getting back to fitness, there's a lot of gimmicks. There's a lot of scams. They're always trying to reinvent the wheel. Meanwhile, nothing really changes.
No, not for 3,000 years.
In the fitness world, nothing changes. This mug, if I put it on a small kitchen scale, this mug is made up of solidified molecules. Like if I weigh it, it has a weight. The muscles of the human body don't give a shit where the resistance is coming from.
Yeah.
All they know is it's resistance.
Yeah.
They don't care if it's 100 pounds of chicken feathers or 100 pounds of lead buckshot or 100 pounds of pebbles or sand by the human or a designer, an expensive designer pair of dumbbells with somebody's signature on it.
Oh, the signature series.
The signature series of people that are.
You think they're like Bobby Orr or Joe Namath or something?
Yeah, or
Michael Jordan.
Jordan. That meanwhile they're unknown. Yeah, like the like the veteran owned,
the Shiksa.
The veteran owned Bilgewater Kinetics. Rosewater Kinetics. It's veteran owned, and the signature series of Krakatoa and Ubangi
And swamp ass.
that became prematurely cracked, overpriced signature series of people that are unknown, and the guy gets his wood for free.
They don't stand by their products.
He gets his wood. He picks his wood in the Idaho forests, and because a certain someone likes to increase the profits on a when they're
So.
Or oy vey. Poor Paul Terras loves the idea that Rosewater Kinetics gets his wood for free, because then he can increase.
We're gonna get a cease and desist order. Oh, I can't wait for that one.
Cease and desist.
Cease and desist from Scott Sonnen and Paul Harris and Rosewater Kinetics and
Slick Rick Brown.
Him too.
He said to me, "You guys want to go? You guys like prison? You guys want to go to prison?"
Prison?
Yeah, under what grounds, right?
He said that?
Yeah.
When did he say this?
Long time ago on the Polyvon group.
Oh, for God's sake! You guys want to go to prison? Get the fuck out of here! Tell him to go to prison for tax evasion.
Yeah, the white envelope of cash.
Yeah.
And what about
unreported income?
What about his wife?
I'm sure the IRS would love to hear about that one.
Yeah. What about his wife?
Go fuck yourself.
What about his wife knowing about all the gumaras he has on the side?
Yeah.
All the gumaras, the mistresses.
Yeah.
I'm sure his wife would appreciate that. Then he would
a little birdie told me.
Then his permanent residence will be a sleeping bag on the gym mat floor of Long Beach Kettlebell Club near the men's room. He will be the
financed by the father-in-law.
Yes, right. Financed by the Japanese father-in-law. He would be the men's room. He would be the men's room.
The one who called your poor mother there. 86 years old, right? Your mom was 86 when he called the house.
He's cursing on the answering machine. Yeah, the other guy, little Diddly Dicky Doyle.
The orange pubic hairs. Yeah.
The one who's another signature. The one whose signature was on that certificate.
Very expensive toilet paper.
When people took his seminar over there in Lodi, New Jersey, in the fucking new breed fitness. Yeah, his little Dicky Doyle signature was like, I think it was a lower left.
He's the founder.
Yeah, lower left-hand corner.
Yeah.
We have their number. We have that. You know what? Nobody is more honest and truthful at exposing like we are.
I know.
Let's see what's going on here.
That's why everybody blocked us from their fucking Facebook pages. You ever notice that, James?
Yeah, all of them
are blocked.
Kelly Calzone, I think the smelly pickled herring, Dina Engard, the one who's
but she never lived in New Jersey.
Her home has always been Southern California.
Her people.
My peeps. Oh, I'm glad to be home. Finally, I am home where I rightfully belong, Southern California. Yeah, you lived in the Galaxy high rise in Weehawken, New Jersey, when you came here from Denmark. Yeah, that's where she lived. The Galaxy high rise in Weehawken, New Jersey, on the Hudson River.
Yeah.
And then she's telling Dickie Doyle about that, and then Dickie Doyle says, "Well, it's great to have you home."
Yeah. Fuck
And,
off.
and then she's obviously she's complaining about the little bit of body fat or a lot of body fat she wants to lose to get toned. And meanwhile, she's ordering high sugar, high carb food from that other guy that has an organic farm in Kentucky. The guy from California has an organic farm in Kentucky, and I did a show with him once. I think his name is Santangelo or D'Angelo.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. He's
Oh, yeah.
Italian, but he's from California. Anyway, she orders from him, and it's all like jams and preserves and jellies and
Yeah, jams.
yeah, they're all like high sugar.
Oh, jammer.
Yeah,
A mamma jammer.
Mamma
Remember
jam.
that song by the hell? I'm a mamma jammer. Rick James.
Yeah, I know. Rick James did. I'm
Super freak.
I'm a real kinky girl,
Oh,
not
yeah.
not the kind you bring home to mother. She's a real kinky girl, a super freak. She's a real kinky girl, the kind you don't bring home to mother.
Oh, she's a bad mamma jammer.
She's a bad mamma jammer. She's a bad mamma jammer. Yeah. So I'm telling you, if people that are listening are wondering who the hell are we talking about, it has to do with the fitness industry.
It's unbelievable, people. I'm like,
It's like a soap opera.
oh, that's why they can't fill up any of these events.
It is a soap
A
opera.
bunch of drama queens running the goddamn things.
They're all attention whores and drama queens, and the ancients would roll. They would roll over in
They're rolling already in the graves
if they knew what would have been done to the fitness endeavor. It's
and the industry,
which means they're in it to make a quick buck.
Yep.
There's no love, passion, dedication. They might say they have love, passion, and dedication.
She's a bad mamma jammer.
Bad mamma jammer. Now, why if they had all this passion for fitness, why are they all focusing on doing these seminars for a high membership fee? A high membership fee to sucker people in.
I know.
Wow. Now talk. This is a perfect example on how fascinating conversation can accelerate time so fast. Now look, the hour is almost over.
I know. We haven't even talked about the bodybuilding. We'll say that one for next week.
About what?
The bodybuilding industry.
Well, the bodybuilders they're egomaniacs. They're narcissists. I mean, I hear
ultimate narcissist.
I hear a lot of them are gay. They stare at themselves in the mirror a lot, and they don't have a pot to piss in.
No.
Who told me that? I knew this old Jewish guy that owned a health food store for 30 years, Bernie Dahl. He's probably dead now, but he gave me a lot of words of wisdom, and he told me, he says, weightlifters and bodybuilders, they don't have any money.
Nope, not at all.
Even the pro wrestlers, when they first start, a lot of them are sleeping in their cars. They don't have any money. They don't have any. I think they spend all their money on steroids.
Yeah, and food and everything else, and they end up with these like sucker girlfriends.
No wonder why they owed Joe Weider so much.
Oh my God! You hit the nail, James. You hit the nail on the head.
Joe Weider sponsored them, and you know what they do for a job? They're bouncers in bars and nightclubs.
I know.
You don't get paid that much to be a bouncer.
No,
really don't. Joe Weider sponsored them, took care of them, and that's why they practiced the Joe Weider system, which was high volume weight training. I'm not saying high volume doesn't produce results, but it doesn't produce results as high intensity, heavy duty training.
I'm a bad man, Majama.
But people have to understand, high intensity, heavy duty doesn't mean that you could be sloppy with your exercise form. You got to use perfect form. Let me pipe you off the pirate ship in advance. Yeah, like 30 seconds in advance. Arr.
All right. Well, have a good week, my friend.
I will play the videos now. It was a pleasure as always.
Again, you're the only reason why I'm on Facebook. That's it.
And I will see you off the air in cyberspace, where you can update me on the other crises.
All right. See you later.
Bye-bye. That was great. The Commodore Jeff Zambello. Let's see. Okay, what am I gonna play? Oh God. Little red pill, men going the wrong way, dating advice.
How'd that happen?
One of the biggest downfalls I see in women in failing relationships is their inability to take accountability. You have to be accountable for your own toxic traits. And yes, being a woman who thinks that you are entitled to the best and perfect man is a toxic trait, because just like how men have to earn a good woman, you also have to earn a good man. If you are not operating in your highest self, what in the world makes you think that you are entitled to a high value man? And it all starts with accountability.
Yes, accountability, taking responsibility for your choices, your behavior, and accepting the consequences that come from them. Not blaming others, not finding fault in someone else. I did that, I chose that, I'm responsible for this. Accountability is one of the most admirable traits that a person can have. It makes someone trustworthy, reliable, dependable. So we agree, in humans, accountability is a universally appreciated trait. Let me ask you this question. Do you think that there's a tiny possibility that in this society, when it comes to accountability, we might hold men and women to slightly different standards?
Motivational TikTok for girls and motivational TikTok for guys is completely different. Because on the girl side, it sounds like this.
You're the prize. You're the queen. Yes, queen. Be in your feminine area as you should. Ooh, look at you, girl. Get your lace done. Look at your booty. Do your thing, baby boo. You don't need a man. But if you do get a man, he has to be a rich man. I love doing well, richer.
And then men motivational TikTok sounds like this.
You're weak. You gotta get off your ass. You ain't got no money. You ain't got no beat. You don't drive a Bentley. How many Bugattis you got? What color's your Bugatti? You gotta hit the gym, get your life back together. What if John Cena slaps your mama? What you gonna do? Nothing, cause you're a weak ass, punk ass, built like an anorexic Jada Picker Smith looking ass, too broke to get free stuff. Look at you. You ain't got no money. Get your bag up. Wake up at 5 a.m. and go to sleep at never. Cause what you mean, sleep is for the weak.
Western culture in the modern day is deeply, deeply sexist, but not in the way that you've been told. Not the sexism against women with the street harassment and the body image. or the fact that their great-great-great-grandmothers couldn't vote. We know that's sexism that's crammed down our throats every single day. I'm talking about the unspoken sexism that we're not allowed to talk about. The fact that men everywhere are held to ridiculous standards and we are responsible and accountable for everything where so many women are just given a free pass. How did this come about?
We've created a generation of narcissistic women. And what's happened is the rise of social media and the rise of online dating and the rise of feminism has taught women that they are not to blame for any poor choices. Every poor choice is glamorized. So if you want to be a sex worker, it's great. If you want to post in bikini pictures online, it's fine. If you want to be with it, every poor choice is glamorized, and every internal reflection is seen as gaslighting yourself. So they've even got terms for internal reflection to prevent it happening. And so what will happen is they are trained to not reflect on themselves because we've been told we've been oppressed for so many years. Now it's time to make sure we project. And so we don't take any accountability. And as a result, when we get into relationships, if we don't feel completely soothed all the time, he must be a narcissist. He must be a manipulator. He must be gaslighting. He, rather than I.
My favorite quote from that clip: women have been trained to not reflect upon themselves. Of course, there's that percentage of men, like egotistical kind of guys, who also have no self-awareness, no self-reflection. But most men are engaged in a process of constantly checking on themselves. How did I perform then? Was that a good choice that I made? Am I acting appropriately right now? Am I making other people comfortable? Am I seeing things accurately? Am I meeting all my responsibilities? Am I being fair and just in the creation of my values and my opinions? On and on and on. It's exhausting. It's hard work. But it's what we do as men. We are raised to be that way since we were boys. You, as a man, you watching this video right now, when you were raised as a kid, were you given the message that your life was going to be easy? That everything was going to be handed to you? And that if you ever got into trouble, don't worry because someone's going to come along and rescue you and take care of it? Fuck no. You're a boy. You deserve nothing. You think, yeah, that's how life is. Wait, that's how life is for you, but perhaps it would surprise you to find out that women, like little girls, they grow up with a very different set of messaging.
How girls are like, oh, I've gotten every single guy I've ever wanted. Like they're bragging about it or something. This is how delusional I am. This is how I thought it works, you know? I'm like, well, duh, you're a girl. Don't we just get everything we ever wanted? Like that's what's going on in my brain. Because since I was little, I'm like, I thought women just get the pick of the litter. You know, I just thought like we get to be like, I want that one and I'll get it. I didn't know there was a chance I wasn't gonna get it because I always got it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Why does anyone still use ponchos if they never actually work? All you need is the bearskin waterproof tactical jacket because this thing bounces water.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And I've seen the impact that this kind of mindset and expectation has upon romantic relationships because I've done private consultations with hundreds of men who cannot understand why their girlfriend can't take accountability. I'm going to explain how that works in a moment, but first let's talk about men being accountable for the way that they look. Men don't want dry, crusty skin. They don't want to look 10 years older than they actually are. But let me ask you this. How many men out there are actually taking action to prevent this by developing a skincare routine? The answer is not enough, and I get it. We're men. Skin products, not our forte. Luckily, the sponsor of today's video, Tiege Hanley, understands that, and they've done all the hard work for us. The starter box comes with everything you need: the AM cream, the PM cream, your facial scrub, your daily moisturizer. It's so easy. Their instruction card tells you which cream to use, how much, and at what time of the day. There is no thought required. You just do what you're told and watch your skin improve. If you live in the US, they'll even ship it directly to your door for free. And they have some brand new products in their range. Check out this scrubber, a premium silicone body washing tool, and this premium 4-piece nail grooming kit. And the best news is that when you order the starter pack, you get to choose one of these 2 items as a free gift. That's in addition to 30% off your first order. And to make this deal even more crazy, if you sign up now, they'll give you 20% off for life. This deal is generous, but Tiege Hanley can afford to be because they're confident you're going to love their products. There's a reason why these guys have thousands and thousands of 5-star reviews. So try it out. Both of those free gifts have a $20 value. Personally, I'd grab the nail grooming kit. I've been using it and now my hands are a manicured masterpiece. Click the link in the description box below and get started today. Okay, back to men not understanding why their girlfriends can't take accountability and why it's so hard for them. Well, think about it from her perspective. If you're a woman and you just get everything that you've ever wanted, then you never needed to develop any self-reflection mechanisms in your brain. There's no need for personal responsibility. Why? What's the point? You've never been held responsible before. Too many modern women are missing that cognitive part of the brain that stops, self-reflects, considers, and then takes action. They're not asking themselves those important questions like, is this smart? Is this my fault? Am I being fair? How is this going to impact other people? Those questions don't arise. Instead, what you see from those women is just unfiltered emotion. No consideration of objective reality, no attempt to use rationality, just women taking actions based on their emotions. I feel and therefore I act.
Like seriously.
Seriously?
Why would you bust my window out?
Okay, so what did you do last night?
I told you.
I went through your phone while you was in the shower. I know what you did last night.
Oh my goodness.
I know what you did last night. Don't try to play me. Don't
Are
try
you
to.
serious? You really busted my window out.
Because I'm a Latina, like, you
No.
can play with me?
I didn't think I could play with you. What are you talking about?
I went through your phone, Steph. What did you
And?
tell me? Then be honest with me. What did you do last night? You was gone for a whole hour and a half. Didn't even tell me where you was going.
Okay, and what did you find? What do you mean? You said you went through my phone. I'm not cheating on you.
I don't know what cakes means. This girl was like, come get these cakes. Yeah, come get these cakes at 10 p.m.
Oh
like,
my
what?
goodness.
Come get these cakes.
Are you
I know.
serious?
You
That's why you busted out my window?
Just because I'm from DR, you think I don't know what cakes mean?
Do you know what today is?
Yes, I do know what cakes mean. First of all.
Okay.
First of
Look
all.
at this. Oh my goodness.
Now go get
Okay,
the cakes then.
okay, smarty pants. Okay, smarty pants. Here's these cakes, huh? These are the cakes. Here.
What is that? What is that now?
Cakes. Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. September 19th. Goofy. It's our anniversary from last year.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. So what do you got to say, huh? What do you got to say?
Well, why didn't you tell me you were going to go?
What do you mean, why didn't I tell you? Are you serious? Why didn't I tell you? Why would I have to tell you if it's a surprise?
I mean, if you think about it, for somebody to be able to go through life while doing so little thinking, having just so few thoughts, it's astounding. It's impressive. This is her process. I don't recognize this behavior from him. It's possible that he's cheating on me. I'm going to go smash the window of his car. I mean, how impressive is that speed to just go from one thing to the next like that? It's incredible. I personally would be hindered by thoughts of maybe there's another explanation. Maybe.
Gentlemen, this is why you have to set the lock screen on your cell phones. You have to set the lock screen where it locks out periodically if you're not actively on your phone. Okay? And then you would have to put your password in or your PIN number. This is the reason why you must do it. And never give your password to your email to anyone, and I mean anyone. Do not give out your password, no matter who asks you for it, no matter what psychology they use to get your password. Okay, you are entitled to your privacy, even if you're married, and you are not obligated to give anyone your password. So no password to the to your email inbox. Make sure you choose a password that only you would know, and make sure you set your phone to lock out periodically. Okay, Ethan, how are you, sir? I hope you're having a good weekend and a good Sunday. Hose be hoeing. That's right. Now she felt the need to look through his phone while he was in the shower because these girls are automatically by default suspicious of any man, and men are in their eyes, men are guilty until proven innocent. So she went through his phone. She probably went through his dresser drawer and wallet and so on and so forth to catch him in the act. Meanwhile, he was having a cake made for their anniversary, and because of this, she busted his car window out. Unbelievable, huh? Unbelievable. Yeah, he's automatically guilty by birth to be no good because he was born a male. Exactly. That's what they're taught. All right, let me finish up on this.
Maybe I should talk to him. Maybe property damage isn't the best way to communicate my feelings. And you know why I would have had those thoughts? It's because I know I would be held accountable for my behavior. I'm responsible for my actions. If I break shit, I'm going to have to pay for it. Do you think that this woman is going to take accountability for the property that she damaged? Let's find out.
If you sleep on your side, I bet you hate your pillow. And this is why. They might be as fluffy as a cloud, but...
So what you got to say about yourself?
Man, I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Well, sorry you ain't gonna pay for this window. I think you need to cough up some of them pesos. And where'd you even get a bat from anyways?
I don't know. I just found it.
You just found it.
Yeah.
You just found it. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
I'm sorry. I already said I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You know what? I'm about to go to my nanny house and stay over there for a couple days. I don't think I can be around you for.
It's okay. Like, we got this.
Yeah, we gonna fix this, huh? How about let's work about fixing this first. No, you was jumping to conclude. It was no misunderstanding. I'm out of here.
He says that sorry is not going to pay for this window, and her response is to roll her eyes.
She's rolling her eyes. He's obviously a smart young man, and I agree with him not wanting to be around her for a period of time. And she rolls her eyes at the fact that she's got to pay for the window because, girls today are not accountable for their bad behavior or actions. And that she's somehow justified in being obsessively suspicious of the men that she is dating or involved with. And by personal experience, I have been through the same thing when it comes to dating Latinas. I feel his pain. 100%.
She says, I already said I'm sorry, because I guess saying sorry once is the limit of her accountability. And did you notice that she kept saying, we will fix this? Excuse me, we? What is wrong with you? No, I don't know if she's talking about the window or the relationship, but she broke both. What you're meant to say in this situation is, I will fix this. That's how you take responsibility. He felt justified. Because without logic, without personal accountability, all you have is emotions. I feel and therefore...
You go to the room, so you gonna go him. I wasn't gonna him. I just need attention.
She's thinking, why should I be held accountable? Attention, I was emotionally justified in doing this. Gentlemen, listen closely to this next section. I'm about to lay down a standard that every single man must hold women to in relationships. Emotions do not justify actions. Let me repeat it. Emotions do not justify actions. But Alexander, aren't you an emotional guy? Isn't this the channel we can come to that's like pro therapy, that encourages us to listen to our feelings and communicate with our partner? Absolutely. I love emotions. I laugh, I cry, I get pissed off. But while I'm happy to validate the emotions that a woman is feeling, the moment that she uses those emotions to justify an action, she's fallen short of my standards and I lose all patience. Let me explain it like this. Let's say your girlfriend has promised to meet you at your friend's party, but then she flakes. She doesn't show up. So you get home and you find her on the couch and you demand an explanation. She says, well, I was feeling socially anxious. I couldn't handle being around other people. She justifies her action based on the emotion she's feeling. The correct response to that is to say, that is not good enough. That cannot happen again. If you say that you're going to be somewhere at a certain time, you turn up. You honor your commitments, especially if someone is relying on you. It doesn't matter if you're sad, you're scared, you're angry, you do what you say you're going to do. Now, when you tell her this, she might come back at you and say, you don't care about how I feel. When she says that, you shut her down immediately because she is manipulating you in a really disgusting way. The truth is that she didn't give you the chance to care about her feelings. The day before the party, if she'd said to you, I'm feeling socially anxious, I don't think I'm going to be able to go to the party, then you could have been there for her. You could have discussed it. You could have comforted her, said, I understand, you don't need to turn up. I'll make alternative plans. You could have encouraged her to share what she's feeling and shown endless love and patience, helping her through those emotions. Or, and this would also be appropriate, let's say she went to the party in order to honor her commitment to you, but the whole time she's really struggling with her social anxiety. And when you get home, she breaks down and you're there to emotionally comfort her. You care about her feelings. You show gratitude for her courage in trying to push past that anxiety, to give it a try, to do what she said she was going to do. You see, you do care about her emotions as evidenced by these two scenarios. But when she flakes on you and you get home and you're pissed off, that's not about her emotions. That's about her behavior. It's about her actions. She said that she would turn up and she didn't. This is not about you not caring about her feelings. She had the opportunity to have that conversation about her emotions, but she didn't take that opportunity, and that's on her. Gentlemen, do not let any woman convince you that you don't care about her emotions simply because you're trying to hold her accountable for her actions. It is not sexist, it is not misogynistic to hold women accountable. You can be the sweetest, most loving, caring guy in the world, listening for hours as she talks about her emotions. That's fine, but that compassion and support should never extend to allowing her to use those emotions to justify her actions. I didn't turn up to the party because I was anxious. I cheated on you because I was lonely and I wanted attention. I insult and I abuse you because I'm frustrated. Absolutely not. Completely unacceptable. Know that inside yourself. Hold that as a standard. If you really think about it, it's actually way more sexist to not hold women accountable for their behavior. It's so infantilizing, treating them as though they're not capable of this very basic adult task. Now, of course, I've been presenting this as though it's very black and white and quite simple, but obviously there's a lot of nuance to it. Some women are genuinely trying to exploit men and use their emotions to manipulate them. A lot of other women are just simply confused. They've gotten into bad habits. This is what they witnessed with their parents' dynamic. So there's probably a lot of guys who are watching this thinking, some of this stuff sounds like my relationship, but I don't want to be so hard with my girlfriend, or I don't completely know how to handle this or what to think about it. In the full-length version of this video, I give some practical tips. What you see here on YouTube, this is mostly like the theory, but if you want to know how to actually apply this stuff in real relationships where you might be making mistakes sometimes and things are messy, that requires a lot more depth and nuance. And so it's in the extended version of this video, which is available on Patreon. If you want to see that, come join.
Very good. Excellent. Let's see. Let's see how long this one is. Let's see. How long is this one? Ugh, this is a little long. This is a little long. Let me try another. All right, let's try this one. This is the truth that no one admits on YouTube. All right. I guess I could play this one. It's not a short one, but I could play it. All right.
My Roman Empire is the fact that when I was growing up, My Roman Empire is the fact that when I was growing up in the early to mid 2000s, my dad only worked one job and my mom was a stay-at-home mom for 90% of my life. And we were really lucky, and my dad made about $100K at his job, and that was enough to support a family of 4 on 7 acres of land plus build our own house. And now that I'm an adult living on my own, I'm single, I have no kids, I can barely even afford rent. Their mortgage payment was $790. I make 60% of what my dad made in the early 2000s, and he was supporting a family of 4 on his solo salary of $100K, and I can't even support myself on a salary of just under $60K. Like, make it make sense.
Inflation is out of control. Cost of living has gone up. Young people are priced out of the housing market. In my country, Australia, in 1984, the average home cost was $64,000. The average annual income was $19,000, and the average mortgage was $42,000. When you bought a house, it was roughly 3 times your annual income. In 2023, the average home cost $920,000, the average annual income is $90,000, and the average mortgage is $576,000. Now, when you buy a house, it is roughly 9 times your annual income. House prices have skyrocketed and wages have not kept up. Now, you might think that this is just economics, that this doesn't affect the dating market, but you would be mistaken. The more expensive a society is to live in, the more women have to work. Families cannot survive on one income. In order for lots of women to survive in the corporate world with high-stress jobs, they've had to cultivate and develop their masculinity. They have to be tough, be ambitious, be disagreeable. That makes them more successful in the workplace. Financially, that's a good plan, but it has a disastrous effect on her femininity. How is she going to relax and be soft and nurturing and feminine when she needs to turn up to her 9-to-5 job every day and be a boss bitch? Our increased cost of living has caused more and more women to lose contact with their own femininity. It's so sad. It's depressing. You want to see how ugly it is when women lose touch with their femininity? You want to see what that looks like?
Oh my God, guys, I'm freaking out. What am I gonna do? Just kidding, I already scheduled the appointment.
This sort of attitude would have been impossible back in the day when women were still in touch with their femininity. But now, laughing about having an abortion, posting it on social media, drinking alcohol, that is now possible with this new generation of modern women because they've abandoned their own womanhood. They're not in touch with any motherly or feminine instincts. This has a disastrous effect on the dating market because when women lose contact with their femininity, it makes men lose attraction to them.
Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. It turns out one of the fastest growing segments of people signing up for Mint are people over the age of 55. So I've decided to call our 55 plus plan the retirement plan. That's it. I thought that was pretty clever. But we're not going to go with that, right? Because at 55, people are just getting started. You just paid off your student loans. You could be a bachelor at 70 these days. I mean, those seniors, like rabbits.
How do celebrities like Justin Bieber and The Rock generate hundreds of millions of dollars? It's actually not what you think. They make a special kind of money known as royalties.
My name is Christian Mickelson, and I help everyday people increase their income online. And I have to say, we're pretty darn good at it. My company is called Publishing.com, and we were just named the 19th fastest growing company in America right now. And there you can see us.
What is the main challenge of dating Australian women nowadays?
Definitely women are hyper masculine, you know, they're very independent, they're in control, they want to control everything. And I think what we what we kind of miss with men is that it takes a lot of courage and a lot of bravery to actually go up to a woman and ask her to go on a date, you know? And there's that fear of rejection, and no one wants to get rejected, but these guys are out there, they're taking a hit, and they're coming up to these women that aren't feminine, they're not playful, they're defensive, they're aggressive, and then the women are complaining about, you know, well, why don't men approach me? And it's like, well, that's why.
She's absolutely right. And it's one of the reasons why more people are single now than ever before. Looking at these statistics, 63% of men in their 20s are single. And that's up from just 51% a few years ago. And this is before inflation really took off. We're 2 years on now. The numbers are probably even higher. Having 2/3 of young men single, that's insane. That's not normal. Ask your grandfather what it was like back in his time. And he'll tell you that for him and all of his friends, it was weird if you reached your mid-20s and you weren't already married and about to have kids. Back then, single men were the minority, but in the modern era, lots of men are just dropping out. They're looking at the current crop of women who are working like crazy, trying to keep up with the cost of living. They've got aggressive, masculine personalities, crazy expectations and standards, absolutely no femininity. And so the men are looking at this and thinking, no, that's just not worth it. I want a girlfriend. I want companionship, but she has to be nice. She has to improve and add to my life. She has to be feminine, and I'm just not meeting many women like that. And it seems like every year, collectively, women are getting less feminine, less pleasant to be around. And yet, at the same time, women's expectations for what they deserve, what they're entitled to, just goes up and up and up. So what do we call this phenomenon when women are getting worse, but their expectations are getting higher? It's called hoflation.
A lot of guys are socially awkward.
I think you're a bit ignorant to like the average guy's experience. Consider this, right? The average guy today, his granddad had to put in a quarter of the work to get the kind of woman that is 4 times as amazing as the woman he's attracted.
Oh, you're talking about
his grandmother was an amazing woman and a very, very feminine, natural woman, and his granddad really didn't have to do the kind of work he has to do right now as a young man in the Western world.
So you're talking about hoflation.
Yes, it's hoflation.
Hoflation. So modern men have to work 5 times harder than their grandfathers did for women 20 times worse than what their grandmothers were.
To keep using economic terminology, we are in a bubble right now where the value of women is massively inflated. Imagine a scenario where housing prices just crashed. All the homes lost their value, but you've got these stubborn homeowners who are putting their houses on the market but stubbornly refusing to drop the price. And so there's no interest, they get no offers. The house just isn't worth what they're expecting somebody to pay for it, so the houses just sit there empty, unoccupied. That's how a lot of modern women are, with an overinflated sense of their own value. But no one's interested. No one's going to pay that price. No one's going to meet those expectations. They'd rather just stay single. So it would seem obvious from a woman's perspective that the most sensible thing to do would be to consult reality. Look at the market. Look at where you sit in the grand scheme of things and ask yourself, am I actually this valuable? Am I pricing myself too high? Could that be why I'm still single? Do men actually find me as attractive and as desirable as I think that they do? Because if not, maybe I need to lower my standards or just improve myself, offer a better product. I need to try and meet the market. That would be sensible, but that's not what women are doing.
You know what just gives me like a little tickle, a little giggle when women are all in this like, oh, you can't get a man because you're not in your feminine energy, like you're too in your masculine energy. The fuck did you think? What did you excuse me? Because I'm out here thinking women, we're the most educated group in society. We're out here making the most money. We pay our bills on time, and most of us are still shaving our legs. I mean, the fact that it is like a societal task for me to aesthetically fix myself for no damn reason, which takes hours upon hours, and yet I have to be at the same job the men are at for the same hours that they are at it, making the same amount of money they do, and I still have to pop a child out of my pussy, feed that child, raise that child, ensure that they are a normal functioning human being, because when have we ever seen a man do that on his own? I can't get into all that. I don't need, like, what is the contribution that I'm looking for? At what point, on top of all that, am I supposed to adjust my energy to attract a man? They don't know anything. They don't do anything. They use one product for an entire shower. I mean, think about just that. it's not giving what it said it's supposed to give. So my energy can be however the hell it wants. Like, you do something about it. I'm cool over here. I'm cool.
The dating market is crashing because women's expectations are too high. They have an inflated sense of their own value. Any woman who thinks that she's a queen and she's entitled to be treated like a goddess while giving nothing back simply because she is a woman is delusional and sexist.
So exactly how waterproof is the bearskin soft shell jacket? Let's just say this is the last waterproof jacket.
How did women's expectations get so out of control? What is the explanation behind their delusion? It's partly because many modern women don't understand that unlike everything else, relationships are not magically going to get better over time. Expecting constant improvement has become the norm in so many areas of our lives. Like a phone in 1980, which again isn't as good as a phone in the year 2024. Technology keeps improving, and us as consumers, we're willing to pay for it because the product is better. Quite frankly, the same thing goes for housing. Like, yeah, it sucks that young people can't afford a house like their grandfather could back in 1950. But part of the reason for that is because houses are better now. They're better designed, they're larger, they have more windows, they're built from higher quality materials. Yes, there is inflation, and yes, wage growth has been slow. But at the same time, everything that we buy now is better. It keeps improving and we pay more because the value is more. But this new generation of modern women seem to expect that their relationship experience should improve at the same rate as technology. In 1980, phones could call people. That's it. But her phone in 2024 can call, can text, can tell her the time, can browse the internet, can wake her up in the morning. It can do all these incredible things, too many to name. And so her mindset is like, well, my phone is so much better than it used to be. Why can't my boyfriend be the same way? Husbands, back in the day, they used to provide money and spank the children, and that's it. But if the quality of relationships should improve at the same rate as technology, then husbands should be able to provide money, but also do half of the chores, socialize with their friends, provide emotional support, do half the parenting, be a handyman, be a therapist, and of course, plan endless romantic gestures to show her that she is still a queen.
Dream on, girls, dream on. They are delusional about their self-worth and sexual market value. Completely delusional and unrealistic, because the kind of man they want or demand makes me ask them, what do they bring to the table to justify, to justify that kind of man? Ooh, I lost, hold on for a second. Oh, okay. There we are. Too many women have become way too surely. Too many women have become way too surly. Yeah, women with masculine energy and no femininity. Hello, Western Mike. I hope your Sunday's going well. Good afternoon. Oh, well, actually, yeah, good afternoon to you. Biden is the normal, likable guy, but after that, no more old people in the White House. There's too many old people in Washington. Are you kidding me? There's too many old people in Washington. Senators, what have you. Get the old out and the young blood in. Femcells and incels, get out of here. All right.
And all of this while simultaneously he's to be a punching bag, to listen to daily tirades about the patriarchy and how privileged he is as a man. The expectations for men in relationships started here, but now it's up here and it just keeps on going higher. And yet, at the same time, expectations for women just keeps going lower and lower. That's the inflation that I'm talking about, women overvaluing themselves. This era where all women are queens and it's a man's job to just endlessly serve her and cater to her whims has got to end. It's not sustainable. If this trend continues, no children will be born. There'll be no more families. Men will just simply opt out. Having a family, raising children is just such an essential part of the human experience. I urge women, please come back to reality. Being a woman does not make you special. It does not make you unique. It does not make you incredible. You're not better than a man. You want a relationship that is healthy and fulfilling? Well, 50% of that is on you. Relationships work if you put in the work. You want him to serve you? Then you have to serve him as well. And if feminism was truly about equality, then everything I'm saying right now should be good news. That's all I'm talking about here is men and women putting in equal effort. But I really want to spend a bit more time talking about how relationships worked back in your grandparents' day, where the man worked and the woman stayed at home, because I'm actually not a believer that we should go back to that era. I don't think those are like the good old days. I think that some of the progress that we've made in the expectations of relationships are a really positive thing. So where do I think the optimal line is and when has it gone too far? Well, I talk about that in the full-length version of this video, which is available.
This is a very wise young man. No doubt about that. Let's see. Now here's an extremely wise young lady, a very rare find. You're going to be amazed at what this young lady says. Let's see. Yeah, she's a very wise young lady, to say the least. That was a cool show last night. Yeah, it went over 5 hours. You believe that? Once the panelists started coming on, even though they came on very late, can't have it next Saturday because I got a special guest, a psychic, physical medium, and Reiki master. A German lady's coming on. She lives in Nevada. From Florida, lives in Nevada. And Damian Owens is going to bring on some mysticism of his own, the pendulum, the divining rods, and the tarot cards. So it should be a very interesting, very fascinating show. But he can't be saying, oh, my kid wants me to do something for him and my wife. No, you just tell them to leave you the hell alone. That, I'm going to need him here on time. Oh, boy. Unbelievable. And, Ronnie Simpson wondered why I called him a wise ass. Because he says he's fashionably late. That's like showing disrespect for making an appointment to be on somebody's live stream show. He's making light of it. He's trivializing it. That like he'll be on when he's on. No, you don't be on when you're on. Then they'll come on. Yeah, well, they're not kind because of their bitter, angry attitude towards men and their unrealistic expectations. That's why they're not kind. Not many, but enough are mean. That's true. And that's a problem. Won't accept any mean women anymore. Well, you shouldn't condone and accept bad behavior. Women, just like men, should be accountable for their bad behavior and their actions. Just like that Australian man very smart Australian man said in a video. But listen to this woman. This woman's a rare find. I mean, she's special. Okay. Let me get her on here. Here she comes. Here she comes. Walking down the street. Let's see.
Today's video is for the men. Hi. I want every single man watching this to know that your masculinity is not wrong. And I think in our culture today, we have been programmed ever so slightly to believe that the qualities of what makes a man masculine is toxic, or there's no room for. Because women have taken total control in a lot of areas in today's culture. And it can be through ways that are hidden and that are not easily exposed. You really have to have an eye for it, and that fully starts within the need of constant validation from our men. Now, sexual energy is powerful, and this is why I talk about it a lot on my channel and the impacts it has on not only men but women. And when it is not honored, when it is not fully able to be transmuted into something that is not to fulfill a short-term void, but is to get you back in harmony and center and truth within integrity of your spirit, that's what I'm talking about. So I think in today's culture, there's no room for men. And it's a sad thing to say, because also we need men. I mean, we're trying to make it seem like men don't have purpose here, or that men have overstepped in a lot of areas. And maybe they have in the past, but I truly think it's a downfall way of thinking to create disturbances within this here and now moment based upon a past where the masculine men in today's culture had nothing to do with. Let that sink in. When the feminists of today's society, what they are doing is tearing down the men that need to be built up, raised up, empowered within their masculinity. And there's no room to do that when we constantly portray what the past has done to women in the society we have now. There's no room for it. I have no tolerance accepting what feminists have done to our men today. Feminism, yes, it played a part in getting women's rights in check. That's needed. That's healthy. That's safe. But to bring that now into today's culture and society, it is dangerous and it needs to end. No one talks about men's mental health, not as much as women. The suicide rates of men going up. Now, suicide rates are unfortunate and they happen to men and women, so I'm not discounting that. But a man has no room to even say this. A man saying this and talking openly about that, he's either looked at as weak, which makes zero sense because now women want men to be more emotional and emotionally attuned to their emotions, but they can only emotionally attune to a woman's emotions when they have learned how to do that for themselves. And that's not to say, men, you should be over-identifying to the emotions that weigh you down. They need to be acknowledged and they need to be validated and accepted by you. But they also need to be understood by women. And women are so powerful, and we truly do have great wisdom and great ability to lift our men back up. Because what we have done to men in today's culture is borderline abuse in a lot of areas. But not a lot of women can admit to that. And this is why I'm coming on today to speak to the men that watch my videos, the men that are looking for a woman to fully understand them. And that's not something I can fully understand because I'm not a man. But what I can do is become aware of how we as women are not living up to our own femininity, and how masculinity needs to be honored. And how is it honored? By seeing men as men, by giving them purpose they so desire. And that purpose has everything to do with honoring femininity. We have to stop fighting against one another. We have to stop placing blame games constantly because it's not going to get us anywhere. Please, if you have a man in your life, make room for his purpose. Make room to give him purpose, to speak to him in a way that actually motivates him. Same with you men. Please, when you have a woman, be able to discern. You deserve to discern a woman. Don't settle, and know that your purpose is truly in your awareness to see past what is going on. Just see past it. The over-sexualization of women, please see past this. Don't get stuck. Don't get trapped. Your emotions should be honored by you, but you should not drown in them, and you should not be victimized constantly in your life by you. Do not accept it. And lastly, your ability to move forward, no matter what is in your way, will show you the leadership capabilities that you have, not only to lead your own life, perhaps the women you will attract, but the children of the next generation who deserves healthy masculinity and femininity. And how do we do that? By holding it in high regard. Your purpose is powerful. Your thoughts are the only things that hold you back in this life. Master them. Please have a purpose that moves you each day, and you will see how far you can get by your own dedication not to settle. So I hope today's video spoke some life into you, and I truly appreciate you. And I'm sending you guys my love and my blessings, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.
Don't waste this opportunity on 3, 2, 1.
Okay. Very smart girl. You know what I'll do? You know what? Let me play this health video about intermittent fasting mistakes. Okay. Okay. Oh man. Mistakes made during intermittent fasting. I'm going to play, let's see, let me address.
Hello, health champions. Today we're going to talk about some common mistakes that people make with intermittent fasting that could actually make you gain weight instead of losing it. So let's make sure that you don't make any of these. One common mistake that people make is that they overeat after the fast, and that is because they feel deprived in some form, and then after the fast they overcompensate and they overeat. Usually this comes down to some very common factors. And if they don't really change what they're eating, they're just eating the same types of food, but they're restricting the window, and a lot of those foods are going to be low quality and processed foods. Now the body isn't getting the proper nutrition, so it's going to be screaming for food during the fast, and then you overcompensate after. And then there are three things that go hand in hand, so we're going to cover those together. One is that you eat too high of a carb diet. You keep eating high carb even when you're fasting. One is that you change too quickly from what you were doing, and The third is that you go directly from a low-fat, high-carb diet, a standard diet, straight into intermittent fasting. So we need to understand how those three factors affect blood sugar and energy production. So when you eat a high-carbohydrate diet, your blood sugar will rise very quickly, and then the body releases insulin to bring it down because the body doesn't like high blood sugar. Really high and really low blood sugar is very dangerous. So it's going to produce a lot of insulin that brings the blood sugar down, and then when it's low, now you get cravings and you eat again and so forth. So you keep getting this blood sugar roller coaster, and this is very much related to processed foods, to high sugar foods, and to high carb foods. And what happens then is that you train your body to depend on these blood sugar spikes, because when they're low, you feel bad, so now you eat more, but then as soon as the blood sugar is high, your body has to use up that energy and bring that blood sugar down. So you get stuck in this dependency on high carbohydrate foods and cravings. And then if you go straight into intermittent fasting, your body doesn't know where to get the energy. And then you have high energy when the blood sugar is high, you have low energy and low mood when it's low. And that's not sustainable. Whereas if you instead eat a low carb diet with your intermittent fasting plans, now as you also eat real food with protein and fat, nuts and seeds, meat, vegetables, now your blood sugar swings are going to be almost non-existent. So you have a very, very stable energy production, and now it's very easy to go 8 hours, 16 hours without food, and you're not going to lose energy. And you've trained your body into using fat for energy, and that's what your body uses when you fast. So it's not necessary for everyone to go low carb when you do intermittent fasting. Some people pull it off even though they eat relatively high carb. But for a lot of people, they're not going to manage it. They're not going to succeed eating a high carb because it's going to be too difficult for them. And for most people, it's going to be much, much easier to do intermittent fasting and continue and have a long-term success if you keep your blood sugar much more level with low carb foods. Another problem can be bulletproof coffee. And don't get me wrong, I am a fan of bulletproof coffee, but we can't let it get out of hand. And we have to understand that it's a tool, it's not a benefit, meaning that if you compare bulletproof coffee to fasting completely, then it's not better. It doesn't do anything additionally that fasting alone couldn't do. And the most common question I get is, does it break a fast and does it raise insulin? And does it break a fast? Absolutely, it breaks a fast, because a fast is when you're not eating anything. But the benefit, the good thing about it, is that it raises insulin just a tiny, tiny bit. It raises it so little, so it's almost like you didn't eat. And I am a fan of bulletproof coffee if it helps you go longer. So if you were getting tired and you got listless or nauseous or whatever, or you just felt like you really had to have something, and then the question was, am I going to eat, or can I get another 4 or 6 or 8 hours of fasting until dinner? Will it help me do OMAD, 1 meal a day, if I have some bulletproof coffee? Because then it's a good thing. It just gets a little blip on your insulin and then you're back to fasting. The problem is when it becomes a fad and a trend and people don't understand where it fits in to fasting. So now we have thousands of people putting up recipes online about all these great things, and people are having 1 and 2 and 3 bulletproof coffees because they think more is better, that if bulletproof coffee is okay, or if it's good, then more must be better. They put butter in there, they put MCT oil and heavy cream, and I've even seen recipes with...
If you want to feel your energy levels skyrocket, you've got to try out this organ complex by Paleo Valley. It's buy one, get one free.
Egg and collagen, and none of those are horrible, but they're not really necessary either. So you just do enough to get you by. And if you have 2 tablespoons of butter, for example, now that adds a couple of hundred calories. A tablespoon of MCT oil is 120 calories. 2 tablespoons of cream is another 100 calories. 1 egg is 80 calories, and a scoop of collagen powder would be probably about 50 calories. So I think it's okay if bulletproof coffee has 200, 250 calories, that's great. But if you have 400, 500 calories and you have a couple of those a day, now that's a meal. That's 2 meals, and you're not really fasting anymore. And the fat is there to carry you over, not to have you eat so much fat that your body has no reason to burn it off the body. So that's where bulletproof coffee can be a problem when it gets out of hand, when it becomes a meal. Now, there are 2 kinds of mistakes that could make you gain weight with intermittent fasting. And the first 2 things we talked about are things like overeating and too much bulletproof coffee. That could actually make you gain weight directly. But then the other way is if you make it so hard that you're going to quit, if you don't understand to turn this into a lifestyle that is sustainable, now if you quit fasting, intermittent fasting, now you gain the weight back because you're not doing the right things anymore. And intermittent fasting is not supposed to be hard, but we have this mentality that of no pain, no gain. We go to the gym, and if it's not hurting, it can't be good, right? But then that mentality sometimes carries over, and now we think that it's the hunger that's going to give us the results. And we feel absolutely terrible, and we say, oh my God, I'm both hungry and I feel deprived, and then I must be doing it right. And we got to get past that kind of thinking, all right? It's not supposed to be hard. If it's too difficult, if we feel miserable, then we're not going to turn it into a lifestyle, and then we fail. Another thing that can make us feel really bad is dehydration. And the 2 parts to that, one is that we're not drinking enough water, but the second part is that we're not taking enough electrolytes, because electrolytes are charged little particles, little molecules that bind water, that hold the water. So the body uses electrolytes to regulate fluid balance in the body. And if we're not taking any, then we can be losing water, even though we're drinking a lot of water. And the most important electrolyte to take is just salt, plain salt, called sodium chloride. I do recommend typically that you get sea salt or pink Himalayan salt. Those are my favorites. But then it's also a really good idea that if you supplement also with some potassium, some magnesium, and some calcium, as well as some trace minerals, especially if you end up doing a little bit more intermittent fasting on a regular basis, or maybe you go a little bit longer once in a while, like more than 24 hours. And because this is such a common problem, I developed a product to support fasting called Ulite, and I'll put a link down below if you want to check that out. Another thing that can actually make you gain weight is poor sleep, and hand in hand with that is high stress, because anytime you wake up after poor sleep or insufficient sleep, now your cortisol is going to be elevated. And the same thing with any type of stress. Anytime that your body perceives that you are in danger, then you're going to be activating the fight-flight response. And anytime that your body perceives danger, it thinks, well, I might have to run. If there's a bear or a tiger around the corner, then I might have to run, so I might need a little extra blood sugar. And that's what the cortisol is for. Cortisol raises that blood sugar. And historically, that was a great thing because we are in danger, we raise the blood sugar, and now the muscles will absorb that blood sugar, and then we move, we run, we fight, and we use up that blood sugar. That's the purpose, that's the balance that resets everything. But modern people, we don't get that movement. We are feeling stressed sitting in a car. We're feeling stressed sitting at a desk. There's no additional energy expenditure. And now that cortisol raises blood sugar, and now with that extra blood sugar and no movement, the body also raises insulin. And now we're promoting metabolic imbalances with that extra stress and that extra cortisol. And of course, when you don't move and you handle that elevated glucose with insulin, now that glucose is going to turn into fat. And whenever insulin is elevated and we store it as fat, now we can't retrieve it and we get hungry. So now we end up eating more, we get more cravings, and that's what happens with excess cortisol. And two really powerful ways to deal with this stress to help the body reset is to do some breathing exercises and to do some meditation. And it doesn't take very long. If you get your body used to doing this and you notice that you're feeling a little stressed, you could take 30 seconds of breathing exercises and reset the body. Another problem is if we exercise wrong. So one thing could be if we just exercise too much, period, but very commonly we just exercise at too high a level for too long. And that matters because we use the wrong type of fuel. And we really want to understand that it's not about calories. Everywhere you look, there's such stupid advice that if you eat a cookie with 100 calories, then you have to walk so many minutes or you have to run so many minutes. That is just not how it works at all. Get that out of your head forever. What you're trying to do is to burn fat. And you burn fat during aerobic.
Watch what protein shakes do to your body.
This is a protein drink. You've got almond butter. Almonds have a peel that's a lectin-containing food. You've got pea protein. Oops, peas are one of the worst combinations of lectin-containing
exercise. Whenever you switch to anaerobic exercise, now you're shifting from fat burning to carbohydrate. Because anytime that you get into anaerobic exercise, you're going to be shifting to a fuel source called glycolysis. And here's how that works. So let's say that you're in pretty good shape and you have a resting heart rate of about 60, and let's say that at rest you're using up that much energy. And then as you start exercising, your body needs more energy. And this energy comes primarily from burning fat and using oxygen. So the blood provides that oxygen, you're oxidizing the fat, and you're making energy. And then as you make more and more energy, your heart rate goes up so you can provide more oxygen. So once you get to about 120, you're close to maxing out how much oxygen the blood can carry. So here you have doubled your heart rate, but you've also increased how much blood is pumped for every heartbeat because the heart stretches a little bit. So now you're pumping about 3 to 4 times as much blood. And here there's still enough oxygen to completely cover the need to make energy. So far you are in what we're calling aerobic with air, that all the energy is covered by oxygen supplied in real time. But now if you start going faster, now your heart rate is going to increase further. And that's a sign that once you start huffing and puffing, now you're not taking in, the blood cannot deliver enough air, enough oxygen. So anything above here is going to be anaerobic. And now you're not burning primarily fat anymore. Now you're still burning the same amount of fat at the bottom as the base, but anything extra, you're going to be using carbohydrate, and you're switching to another energy pathway called glycolysis. And the way you can tell is that you're huffing and puffing, your muscles start burning because this glycolysis, you're breaking down glucose and you turn that into lactic acid. That burn in the muscle, that's the lactic acid from anaerobic metabolism. And now the problem is that fat burning with oxygen is very, very efficient because you're going to be producing 38 ATP per unit of energy that you're using up, per unit of fat. But when you switch to glycolysis, to carbohydrate, now you're only getting 2 ATP. So to get this extra energy, you're going to be using up a lot of carbohydrate fairly quickly. And if you're using up carbohydrate quickly, what does the body have to do? It has to look for more. So now you're making cortisol at very high levels. So anytime that you get into this zone, you're going to automatically kick in the cortisol at pretty high levels. Now, even though you're making massive amounts of cortisol, this can be beneficial if this anaerobic is very, very brief. That's called high intensity interval training. So if you do that all out, like a maximum effort for about 30 seconds, and you keep the total of intervals down to just a few minutes, now you're getting tremendous benefits, and the drawback is not so much, because even though you're in this anaerobic zone, it's such a short time that the benefits far outweigh the drawbacks. However, if you go to a spin class, or if you go huffing and puffing, or you do something for 30, 40 minutes or an hour, now you spend so much time in that anaerobic zone, you're making so much cortisol that you're also going to drive up your insulin. And when you do a lot of this, you also will get increased cravings to replenish all of that carbohydrate that you used up. So we have to understand that if we do things the hard way, that if we struggle and make it complicated and difficult, then we all end up quitting. Whereas if we learn how to do it right, now you can set yourself up for long-term success, for a lifestyle change. Another problem can be hypoglycemia. And for the most part, it's not the hypoglycemia itself. That's kind of rare that it becomes a problem, but it is the fear. It's an inappropriate fear sometimes. Like someone asked me, how do I do this? Every time I try to do one meal a day, my blood glucose drops below 70 and I have to eat something. Because we've been warned, we've been scared of hypoglycemia, like that's a terrible thing. But when you're fasting, you're burning mostly fat. And when you're mostly in fat burning, especially if you're low carb, now you make ketones. That's an alternate fuel. So your body doesn't need as much blood glucose, and it's not a problem. When I do a longer fast, I sometimes get down into the 50s. I know a lot of people get into the 40s. And as long as you feel good, it's not a problem. But I want to tell you about a study that they did one time where they took a group of young, healthy men and they fasted them for 3, 4, 5 days, and their blood glucose levels were in the 40s and 50s. And then they injected them with insulin to force the blood glucose dramatically low just to see what happened. And one guy got the glucose down to 9, and most of them were between 15 and 20. And nothing happened. None of them displayed symptoms of hypoglycemia. They still felt good because their bodies, their brains were running on ketones. So your body doesn't need as much glucose when you're fat adapted and when you're fasting. But the people who really need to be careful about hypoglycemia are type 2 diabetics on insulin and type 1 diabetics who are also obviously on insulin. If you're not on insulin, then all you have to do is to pay attention to how you feel. Because if you're a type 2 diabetic, if you're taking insulin and you stop eating, now that insulin will be just like the study I mentioned. It will force the blood sugar super, super low. And that can be dangerous if you're not used to fasting. But if you're not on insulin, then you just have to pay attention to how you feel. Are you feeling good? Are you clear-headed? Do you have energy? Or are you dizzy? Are you lightheaded? And if you start feeling off in any way, then the first thing that you do is you drink some water and you have some salt or some electrolytes with it. And if it doesn't pick up almost immediately where you're feeling better, then you go eat something. And then next time that you try intermittent fasting again, you go a little bit slower at it, or you make sure that you're a little better fat adapted and you follow all these other rules that we talked about. But the biggest reason people fail to develop a lifestyle of intermittent fasting is probably that they don't understand enough about it. If they have a lack of knowledge, if they don't understand how the body works, then you just need to study a little bit more, because more understanding of these things will create a better expectation, a more realistic expectation. And the best way to gain a better understanding is, of course, to watch a lot more of my videos. And if you enjoyed this video, you're going to love that one. And if you truly want to...
All right. Dr. Sen Ekberg, outstanding videos. Let's see. I could play one more, even though the show has gone on long enough. This one is Dr. Stuart Berg.
Is to speed up the growth of muscle. Now, you have about 650 muscles in your body, and I'm talking mainly the skeletal muscles, not into the other muscles. But the purpose of muscle is to create movement, to help you with posture, to help you even with your metabolism. If you don't have enough muscle mass, let's say you're getting older and you lose your muscle, you lose your metabolism too. So you have a lot of mitochondria that helps you burn fat in your muscle. And then also muscle helps pump the lymphatic system. And so if you don't move a lot, you're not going to pump your lymph through your body. Now, there are two not surprising ways to increase muscle growth. You already know this: high intensity exercise and the consumption of protein. You're not going to grow muscles on a vegan burger, okay, or a plant-based burger. It's not going to happen. You need the best source of protein, and that would be animal protein. Steak and eggs are at the top of the list. Now, how much protein you need? Anywhere between 0.8 to 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram of weight. Now, what I mean by kilogram of weight, I'm talking about of your kilogram of lean body muscle weight. So if you're a really big person and you have a lot of fat, you got to do this calculation on your lean body mass. And I will put a link down below to kind of help you figure out that calculation. Now, if you're not into kilograms, you're into more in pounds, there's a different formula for that. I'm going to put that down below. When you're talking about grams of protein, we're not talking about the actual weight of a steak, for example. We're talking about the protein in that steak. Let's say, for example, if we talk about pounds, right? And you weigh about 185 pounds, and that's how much lean body mass you have. That would come out to about 84 kilograms, okay? If we do the calculation on 0.8 grams, I would just times that times 84, and that comes out to 67 grams. And then if we look at the high range, 1.5 grams, and we do that calculation, we're talking between 67 grams of protein to 126 grams of protein. So what would determine if you're on the low end or the high end? Your age, how active you are, how much exercise you do, and the strength of your digestive system. Like if you're 95 years old, you're probably not going to do the top highest amount of protein versus if you were an athlete at 20 years old. And some people might even need to go up to 2 grams of protein per kilogram of lean body mass. Now let's get into the surprising things that can increase the speed of muscle growth. First thing on the list is creatine, right? And by the way, creatine is in foods, especially meat. But if we want to speed up the growth of muscle, we want to take it as a supplement. It's not necessarily creating muscle itself, but indirectly it is, because creatine is kind of like a buffer or a substitute for energy, especially the initial high intensity exercise with short duration. Even before glucose is made, you use a type of creatine, and that's used as energy to allow you to recycle or recover this ATP. And what's unique about that is when you exercise high intensity, short duration, that is what increases the muscle growth. And so creatine allows you to do that. If you don't have enough creatine, you're not going to have the energy to work out like that number one, and the energy that's supplying the system actually can help you grow this muscle. It allows you to do more work. I mean, if you're going to go work out and build muscles and you're tired and you don't have enough energy, it's probably not going to happen. Now, as far as how much creatine you need, if you're really serious about building muscles, I would use 20 grams for about 5 days and then go down to like a maintenance dosage of 3 grams for the rest of the month. And then you would cycle to a higher amount, 20 grams for 5 days, and then cycle back to your smaller maintenance amount. Number 2, cold therapy. Now you can do cold showers, cold immersion, cryotherapy. There's a lot of different versions of this. When you're in the cold, the body has to do something very, very unique. It has to maintain the core temperature. So it has to generate a tremendous amount of energy to do that. So to do that, you're going to generate this type of brown fat, which then will stimulate the white fat, and you're going to burn a lot of calories. And so the combination of burning more calories, burning more fat, and the cold therapy, both in rats and humans, increases the expression of the muscle genes, okay, certain genes in your muscles that help the growth of muscle, as well as something called the RNA, which is kind of like the protein factory that makes different proteins. Cold therapy increases that. Cold therapy also decreases inflammation. Now, you may have heard studies that show that cold therapy actually does not increase your muscle, okay? It actually will shrink your muscles. That is true initially, but in the recovery phase, it will increase the muscle size. It's kind of like any type of stress. You can overdo it. We want intermittent type stress to the body to create some cool changes. All right, number 3, intermittent fasting. There's one school of thought that if you're not eating, your muscles are going to waste away. But what happens when you do intermittent fasting, you stimulate growth hormone. You stimulate all sorts of things that indirectly can potentially increase muscle through the hormone, growth hormone. Here's the catch-22. You're probably not going to grow any muscles if you're doing any type of prolonged fasting. I'm talking about just doing intermittent fasting, like 2 meals a day, not cutting your calories down, just not having the snacks. Because intermittent fasting will also make insulin more sensitive. So by fixing insulin resistance, you can actually get more insulin to the muscle because the snacking just kills this whole process. Here's another catch-22. You got to be somewhat healthy to do fasting. I mean, if you take a really sick person and you start to put them on this stress of fasting, it might not be the best thing to start them out on. I'm talking about a person who is not sickly, who has somewhat of a good health, and that can do this correctly and also combine at the same time the exercise because they have the energy to do it. Number 4, arginine, and it can significantly help you increase growth hormone by inhibiting another hormone called somatostatin. So arginine kind of takes the brakes off of growth hormone. They've even given children that are a bit shorter than they should be about 2.2 grams of arginine, and notice that they actually grew taller. But arginine is another surprising way to enhance the growth of muscle. But what you want to do is you want to take a bit higher amounts, between 3 to 6 grams per day on an empty stomach. And I think the best time to take it is about 30 minutes before you work out. Now, if you have not seen my other powerful video to grow muscles, I put it right here. Check it out.
Oh, let's check it out.
At New York Presbyterian, we've built up our experience over decades with heart surgery procedures that set the standard.
Now, okay, excellent, Dr. Stuart Berg. You know, I'm on a roll. Let me just see. Let me see how long this one is. I am on a roll. What's going on here? There we go. There I am. I got one more left in storage. but I don't have to play it. It's a recent video. It's a, you know, another red pill dating relationships video by that very highly intelligent Alexander Grace from Australia. And oh, all right, what the hell? I'm on a roll. This one's 10 minutes long. Well, since I'm on a roll, I might as well play it all, right? This is, it starts very amusingly.
Here's your reminder that going out is literally not worth it. If you think you're missing out and you have FOMO and you're in your early 20s, like you're not missing out on shit, I would much rather be home right now sleeping.
Every single weekend, young women like this do their hair, put on makeup, short dresses, and get ready to go out partying. They are genuinely excited because at the start of the night, the evening holds so much promise. We're going to dance, we're going to flirt, we're going to have some drinks. It's going to be so much fun. No, it's not. Typically, nights end up like this. Partying isn't fun. The idea that clubbing is in any way fulfilling for women is just a lie that they've been told, usually by their best friends who actually have very dark motives for spreading this myth. In this video, I'm going to explain the lies that women have been told about going out and partying, why women are so willing to believe these lies, and also the red flags that you need to look out for when dating these women. First off, let's establish something that should be obvious. Partying, drinking, and hooking up with random guys is not fun for women. Any woman who says that it is doesn't know what actual fun looks like. Fun is a positive, creative feeling. Something new and special is being created in your life, and you're sharing that with people that you care about. But what most women call fun while partying is just numbness. It's not a positive feeling. It's just a temporary escape. She has money issues. She has self-esteem issues, insecurity. She's failing at school. But while she's partying, she's able to escape all of those problems. Going out clubbing gives her a chance to numb herself, to drink alcohol until her mind stops working. She can dance and lose herself into the music and the atmosphere, essentially trying to disappear as a person. She wants to escape the reality of her life and just not exist. In real life, she feels bad about herself. She has no personality, no values, no achievements. But she doesn't want to think about that because she hates feeling like a failure. And so she puts herself into this clubbing, partying environment where none of that matters. For a few hours, she can forget all that, feel good about herself because look at all these men wanting to dance with her, trying to flirt with her. All of that male attention must mean that she's really valuable, right?
I'm in my 60s, and even though I ate a lot of protein, I struggled with low energy levels. It turns out our muscles need certain amino...
Wrong. Men are just horny. Men have very low standards for who they hook up with. So all of that attention that you're getting, that does not mean that you're a quality person, that you're innately desirable. It just means that men will sleep with anyone, really. They're just trying to get in your pants. That's it. So what you're doing by going out partying is not fun. It's deeply sad. But women don't want to acknowledge that. That's why they're drinking alcohol. They don't want to think about it, so they're numbing out all their good judgment. That way they can pretend that slutting it up for men is a totally valid means of obtaining self-esteem.
Do you remember when being a whore was an insult? But now, I love being a whore.
I would like to apologize in advance to my friends and family because this summer I will in fact be a whore.
Y'all really on this app thinking you can hurt my feelings by slut shaming me when there is nothing wrong with being a slut. Try again, baby. I'm for the streets and I'm proud of it.
Gentlemen, never date a woman whose self-esteem is based on sexual validation from men. Recently, I've seen some men try and virtue signal about how enlightened and non-judgmental they are. I don't care if my girlfriend has slept around in the past. I'm above that sort of thing. Only a small, weak-minded man would care about that. Yeah, well, we saw from the stories in my course how badly that works out. What I'll say is that it matters not just that the girl that you're dating has high self-esteem, it's where she has obtained that self-esteem. What is the source? Because if it's that she's kind, has great values, a supportive personality, she's feminine, she has incredible achievements, and for all those reasons she feels really good about herself, that's great. But if she feels good about herself because a lot of men want to fuck her, then that's a disaster. If you make her your girlfriend, any time that her self-esteem drops, then she's going to be tempted to go out and cheat on you because she needs that sexual validation in order to feel good about herself. It's such a risk. I don't know why men would ever be flippant about that.
Oh, hey girl, what's going on? Are you just laying in your bed on your phone? Get up, bitch! Stop being lazy! Get out of your bed! Put on makeup! Go out! Go be a whore! Go be a slut! You're only gonna be this young once! You're only gonna be this hot once! No, I'm definitely gonna get hotter. 3 rules! Manifest, manipulate, medicate! It's simple! Go do it! Now!
And so you see the raw, ugly truth. You see the real reason why women encourage each other to go out partying, to drink a lot, to hook up with random guys. It's not because they care about their friends and they want the best for them. It's because they're looking for allies to be complicit in their numbing, escapist strategy. One woman by herself, drinking alcohol, sleeping with random guys, it's obvious that she's a sad, broken person. Numbing herself to escape her problems. When she's by herself, there's no way that she could possibly deny that that's her reality. But something magical happens when 5 women all get together and drink alcohol, go out partying and start hooking up with random guys. Suddenly now, it's not an obvious cry for help. It's fun. It's a party. We're young. This is no big deal. Don't look too deeply into it. Look, all my friends are doing it. Gentlemen, I have seen this many times in my Hey Hero requests. If your girlfriend has female friends who are doing this numbing escapist partying strategy, you need to be very careful about her influence on your girlfriend. She will lie, saying that she's having such a good time, that it feels so good for her to not be tied down to a man. She's only saying this because she cares about your girlfriend. She just wants her to let loose, have some fun. Get her free from her controlling boyfriend who keeps her at home. She's motivated by a sisterly love and care. Wrong. She is motivated by selfishness, and she's using your girlfriend as a prop. She wants to make her complicit in her numbing strategy just so she doesn't have to face her own internal demons. A true friend does not try and undermine the happiness of her friends, sabotaging a functional relationship simply so she has somebody to go and party with. Women supporting other women does not look like isolating women from the men in their lives. True support is actively encouraging your girlfriends to invest in their relationship with men because, even though this is not politically correct to say, it is in women's best interests to get married to a good man.
It dawned on me that I'm 46 years old and I don't have a husband to take care of me. I don't have a husband to help me. I'm 46 years old and I still need my mama. It sucks. Being single and 46 sucks. And I'm fucking tired.
Feminists are so determined to paint the domestic life of a woman as boring, or even worse, exploitation by men. That being married to a man and raising children is a miserable existence for women. It's like being kept prisoner, and obviously it makes women miserable. But look at the alternatives that they have offered. Single motherhood? Total disaster. Being single, alone, and childless, those women end up angry and bitter. Random promiscuity and partying, none of these are making women happy. Now, I understand, I really do, that women have been through some shit at the hands of men. Violence, rape, the worst shit in humanity. I don't deny it. Women, I get it. If you've been through something like that with a man, then obviously you're going to be nervous about tying your fate and your happiness to a man. To rely on a man feels like you have no control, and so you're desperately searching for alternatives. Maybe you'll just go it alone or just be with your female friends. Maybe some of you thinking that just having sexual relationships with women is somehow going to solve this problem. Only it turns out that lesbian relationships have an even higher rate of domestic violence than heterosexual ones, because it turns out that you find awful people in both genders. And I am sorry if a man has hurt you. I really am. But the honest to God truth is that the promiscuity, the partying, just like single motherhood, This isn't working. These lifestyles that are purposely built to avoid ever having to rely upon a man are not delivering the happiness and the fulfillment that was promised. And the truth is that until a proven alternative is offered, marriage, domesticity, commitment, monogamy, children is one of the safest ways for women to actually be happy and fulfilled. It turns out the solution to bad men is not no men, it's good men. Being married gives you security, safety, a chance to express your femininity, knowing that the man in your life is handling the masculine aspects. And you get children, beautiful, miracle children that you get to raise to be happy, healthy, that share your values, become high quality people that everybody loves and admires, which then reflects glory back to you as their mother who raised them to be that way. This is not enslavement. This is not exploitation. When done the right way, domesticity is incredibly satisfying, certainly a lot more so than partying and drinking. So young women, please listen to what she's saying. If you're not going out every night, you're not missing out on anything. If you found a boyfriend and life's a little bit boring, but you love each other and you're working on building something, creating a life together, that's good. That's great. You're doing the right thing. You're investing in your long-term happiness. Do not give in to the FOMO that says that you're missing out by not getting drunk and grinding on some stranger in a club at 2 a.m. That's not real happiness. And for men, I would argue that the gender equivalent of this is being a fuckboy and being a player. A lot of men struggle with monogamy and commitment because they think they're giving up a really fun lifestyle of sleeping with lots of women. But I'm very clear that the promiscuous lifestyle for men is not nearly as fun and fulfilling as monogamy. Why do I say that? Well, I make my case in the full version of this video, which is available on Patreon. What you see here on YouTube, these are just the shortened, abridged versions. If you want to see
All right. Well, there we are. He is, hey, Mr. Ronnie S., Clearwater, Florida. This guy is a very intelligent young Australian man. He's got it right on. He hits the nail right on the head. And that young blonde girl that exposes the truth about today's females going bad and what they're doing to men is also right on the money. Anyway, this is probably the longest Sunday show I've ever done. 2.5 hours, but that's okay. I exhausted the material I had in storage for the Sunday show. So I hope everyone is having a lovely Sunday. The weather's great here. Couldn't be better. I hope the weather is also equally good down in the section of Florida that Ronnie S. is located in. You could have came on if you're at the pool. You know, you got to plug in the phone. That's all. You got to plug it in. Plug it in into the USB port. But you got to get yourself one of those phone tripods, the plastic ones, very, very cheap. Or you can use your sunglasses, which is cheaper. So I also mentioned, I did a little sports talk with the Commodore, that the New York Yankees have improved greatly. They're making it happen. They won again against the Chicago White Sox today. Okay. All right. All right. Anyway, have a good Sunday and have a safe and healthy, happy beginning of this new week, everyone.